Hey guys, Ian Alexander. Welcome to yours YouTube channel Fascinating Facts. In this video discussing about origin of music. If you like this video, please press the like button and comment your thoughts in comment section. Subscribe the channel for getting upcoming videos notifications. Although definitions of music vary wildly throughout the world, every known culture partakes in it, and music is thus considered a cultural universal. The origins of music remain highly contentious. Commentators often relate it to the origin of language, with much disagreement surrounding whether music arose before, after, or simultaneously with language. Many theories have been proposed by scholars from a wide range of disciplines, though none have achieved wide approval. Most cultures have their own mythical origins concerning the invention of music, generally rooted in their respective mythological, religious, or philosophical beliefs. The music of prehistoric cultures is first firmly dated to c. 40,000 BP of the Upper Paleolithic by evidence of bone flutes, though it remains unclear whether or not the actual origins lie in the earlier Middle Paleolithic period. There is little known about prehistoric music, with traces mainly limited to some simple flutes and percussion instruments. However, such evidence indicates that music existed to some extent in prehistoric societies, such as the Xia dynasty and the Indus Valley civilization. Upon the development of writing, the music of literate civilizations, ancient music was present in the major Chinese, Egyptian, Greek, Indian, Persian, Mesopotamian, and Middle Eastern societies. It is difficult to make many generalizations about ancient music as a whole, but from what is known, it was often characterized by monophony and improvisation. In ancient song forms, the texts were closely aligned with music, and though the oldest extant musical notation survives from this period, many texts survive without their accompanying music, such as the Rigveda and the Shijing classic of poetry. The eventual emergence of the Silk Road and increasing contact between cultures led to the transmission and exchange of musical ideas, practices, and instruments. Such interaction led to the Tang dynasty's music being heavily influenced by Central Asian traditions, while the Tang dynasty's music, the Japanese kagaku and Korean court music, each influenced each other. Historically, religions have often been catalysts for music. The Vedas of Hinduism immensely influenced Indian classical music, while the five classics of Confucianism laid the basis for subsequent Chinese music. Following the rapid spread of Islam in the 6th century, Islamic music dominated Persia and the Arab world, and the Islamic Golden Age saw the presence of numerous important music theorists. Music written for and by the early Christian Church properly inaugurates the Western classical music tradition, which continues into medieval music, where polyphony, staff notation, and nascent forms of many modern instruments developed. In addition to religion or the lack thereof, a society's music is influenced by all other aspects of its culture, including social and economic organization and experience, climate, and access to technology. Many cultures have coupled music with other art forms, such as the Chinese four arts and the medieval quadrivium. The emotions and ideas that music expresses, the situations in which music is played and listened to, and the attitudes toward musicians and composers all vary between regions and periods. Many cultures have or continue to distinguish between art music, folk music, and popular music. Music is regarded as a cultural universal, though definitions of it vary wildly around the world and throughout history. As with many aspects of human cognition, it remains debated as to what extent the origins of music will ever be understood, with scholars often taking polarizing positions. The origin of music is often discussed alongside the origin of language, with the nature of their connection being the subject of much debate. However, before the mid-late 20th century, both topics were seldom given substantial attention by academics. Since the topic's resurgence, the principal source of contention is divided into three perspectives: whether music began as a kind of proto-language that led to language, if music is a spandrel that was the result of language, or if music and language both derived from a common antecedent. There is little consensus on any particular theory for the origin of music, which have included contributions from archaeologists, cognitive scientists, ethnomusicologists, evolutionary biologists, linguists, neuroscientists, paleoanthropologists, philosophers, and psychologists. Some of the most prominent theories are as follows. Music arose as an elaborate form of sexual selection, perhaps arising in mating calls. This theory, perhaps the first significant one on music's origins, is generally credited to Charles Darwin. It first appeared in Darwin's 1871 book The Descent of Man and Selection in Relation to Sex, and has since been criticized as there is no evidence that either human sex is more musical, thus no evidence of sexual dimorphism. There are currently no other examples of sexual selection that do not include considerable sexual dimorphism. Recent commentators, citing music's use in other animals as mating systems, have nonetheless propagated and developed Darwin's theory. Such scholars include Peter J.B. Slater, Katie Payne, Bjorn Merker, Jeffrey Miller, and Peter Todd. Music arose alongside language, both of which supposedly descend from a shared precursor. The biologist Herbert Spencer was an important early proponent of this theory, as was the composer Richard Wagner, who termed the music and language's shared ancestor as speech music. Since the 21st century, a number of scholars have supported this theory, particularly the archaeologist Stephen Mithen. Music arose to fulfill a practical need. Propositions include to assist in organizing cohesive labor, first proposed by the economist Karl Butcher; to improve the ease and range of long-distance communication, first proposed by the musicologist Carl Stumpf; to enhance communication with the divine or otherwise supernatural, first proposed by the anthropologist Siegfried Nadel; to assist in coordination, cohesion, and cooperation, particularly in the context of families or communities; to be a means for frightening off predators or enemies of some kind. Music had two origins, from speech and from emotional expression, first proposed by the musicologist Kurt Sachs. Reflecting on the diversity of music around the world, Sachs noted that some music confines to either a communicative or expressionistic form, suggesting that these aspects developed separately. Many cultures have their own mythical origins on the creation of music. Specific figures are sometimes credited with inventing music, such as Jubal in Christian mythology, the legendary Shah Jamshid in Persian, Iranian mythology, the goddess Saraswati in Hinduism, and the Muses in ancient Greek mythology. Some cultures credit multiple originators of music. Ancient Egyptian mythology associates it with numerous deities, including Ammon, Hathor, Isis, and Osiris, but especially Ihi. There are many stories relating to music's origins in Chinese mythology, but the most prominent is that of the musician Ling Lun, who, on the orders of the Yellow Emperor, invented bamboo flute by imitating the song of the mythical Fenghuang birds. If you like this video, please press the like button and comment your thoughts in comment section. Subscribe the channel for getting upcoming videos notifications. Thank you.